Hello folks, welcome to Canal Channel Jose. Today we're gonna give you an idea how to replace your sink faucet on your bathroom. And today we have this Rodex brand, and this is a 3-piece handle, neck, and handle. It's not a one piece, so each one goes into the hole individually. They connect with hoses. So we're gonna give you an idea how to replace it or how to install it. And we like the mechanical ones where you screw on the hoses, and the new systems are all pop in or quick connect. I don't like that system because they, with the pressure, they flex and the O-rings tend to leak. With the old system where you screw them on, all the 3/8 and ½ inch cold water lines, they don't, as there's a change of pressure, they don't leak unless it's a really bad seal. But anyways, first thing you gotta know is where your water shut-off valve is to the house, in case you have to run out there, or you shut the water at the source, so you don't, in case you break something underneath the sink while you're doing this process, and you don't end up with a flooded bathroom or house. And if it's a 2-story house, you don't want to create problems, because then it's going to leak down to your next room, and that's going to create problems. So anyways, know where your water shut-off valves are. If you're replacing the angle stops, make sure you get the right angle stops, and also make sure you get the right parts for your sink, because you go buy a faucet and it doesn't fit your sink. So that's another thing. Buy the right stuff for the right job. And also study your plumbing to know what kind of tools you're gonna need, because sometimes you might, okay, I'm gonna be replacing this faucet, but you don't have a adjustable wrench or some sort of a tool that is gonna slow your job down. Know where your water shutoff is, buy the right stuff, study the plumbing so you know what you need, and also get the right tools. Okay. It's better to have more tools than no tools. How to install these Rodex, we're going to leave the link below for this faucet. We pay about $64 for this faucet. We could have gone to Home Depot, but we ordered it online and it was like half price or less than half price online. So these are the angle stops quarter turn. So you can see that this is all metal, and we have taken these nuts off of these. So all their compression fittings for these, they come with the 2 nuts, which are compression fittings, and all it is that they come with a hollow nut that goes over it. This will be where the pipe will be sitting, the hard pipe, and this is the compression ring which will secure. This is what creates a seal for the water not to leak. So all it is that once it squeezes down, it creates a pressure in the middle that keeps everything from sliding out. So that's this. We took it apart from this because we only need the angle stop, and like I said, this is a quarter turn. There's all ones that you can keep turning like 4 times. Those are our old technology. I don't recommend those. Use the quarter turn because they're easier to turn, and they last longer. These are all metal. The other ones were used to be plastic tin. You might save a little bit of money, but it's gonna dry out and it's gonna break and it's gonna create you a problem. So spend $1 or $2 more on these guys. Quarter turn all steel instead of the plastic cheap ones, because that can save you a lot of money in repair. Okay, folks, so this is what we're talking about. You see the water drip right there building up? That's where our problem is. These are old faucets, and as you can see from the bottom, this is what we're talking about. We are going to replace the valves, but at the same time we're replacing the faucet, because these valves, they're old technology, and they're angle stops built with a hose going up to the faucet. So we're going to replace it with a new angle stop that is a newer technology and better, but we're just replacing it because we have a problem with the water leak right there, and these are old technology. Okay, folks, so we're talking about quick connect and mechanical connections. So we're talking about mechanical is that we're talking about things that have to be threaded into the angle stop. For example, these hoses, they got threads, and these have to be threaded into the angle stops. The quick connect new ones, they kind of they're threaded into the angle stop, but they're once they go into the valve, they're all connected by just like a air hose. They connect and that's it. They pop in and they stay in there. Our ring secures the water from leaking by, but sometimes we're gonna expose that they're not what they're claiming. They can leak, and like I said, these can take more pressure, and they can take different pressures. If there's a change of pressure, they're never gonna leak. Well, they're gonna leak, but not as quick as the quick connect. The quick connect cannot take a suddenly change of pressure because they slide back and forth, and that's what they cause the leak. These ones are all mechanical. They're stiff. They're all solid. So that's what we like. We like to be non-flexible or so they don't move around. So that's what we're talking about, mechanical. So we're gonna start taking apart this stuff. Okay, folks, so once you're doing this, make sure you drain all the water out of your pipes or the plumbing. We got both angle stops open, and we drain completely the water out of it. So once we take those angle stops, there shouldn't be any water coming out of those angle stops or those pipes. So then we'll put the new angle stops in, and then we shouldn't have any water draining out. So we do it while we have the old valves in there, so we can slowly control the valve with no pressure to drain the water out. Okay, folks, so we have two valves. Angle stops, the old one, still in there. We got a new one coming in, which is right here, and we're just gonna put it over on the pipe, just like, and we're gonna thread it in, and we're gonna show you in a close look what we're talking about, compression ring. So this is the nut that is already there that we took off from the old one, and there's a compression ring in there that we're gonna reuse. So we are just using the angle stop with no compression nuts or rings, and we're just gonna slide it into the copper existing compression ring with the nut, and we're gonna thread it in. And we're talking about, you gotta make sure what angle stop you got, what angle stop size you got from the wall. That's a 1/2 inch. So you gotta make sure you buy the right angle stop that you're gonna use. So you just reuse the angle stop. You use a new angle stop, and you don't have to take the old compression ring or modify it or nothing at all. You just take the old one off and put the new one just with the old existing compression ring and nut, and tighten it down. We didn't show you that how to take off the valves or the handles or the faucet, because it was surgery. We had to cut. It's not easy. So the purpose of this is to show you how to install it. And then once we install the angle stops, we tighten it. And there's a certain way you have to tighten it, because if you turn the angle stop and then you turn the nut, the compression nut, you have to hold the angle stop and turn the compression nut only. And we're gonna show you a trick, or not a trick, the most correct way you have to do that. But that's if you're replacing those valves. In another video, we're gonna show you that. But today we're gonna show you, to get an idea, how to install 8-inch apart holes, a 3-hole faucet on your sink. So first of all, we're gonna start that this kit comes with 4 hoses, 2 short ones that are 3/8 both ends, and there's 2 longer ones. One is red and one is blue, so that's for hot and cold. And the 3/8 go into the angle stop, and the 1/2 inch are gonna go towards the valve where the both handles for the cold and hot water. So we're gonna start installing the centerpiece, the neck of the faucet, and this is gonna be the first thing we're gonna do, so we can start running our lines or the upper stuff, we're gonna put it, and then we're gonna connect our bottom hoses at the end. So we gotta make sure we're gonna start from the center out, because we gotta tighten this nut at the bottom, so we don't want the handles to be on the way when we're tightening this, because this is the first thing we wanna put in, because that way you can tighten it without the handles being in there. So you gotta get it from the left or the right, depends. So let's get started on that. So this center has this chrome piece that goes on top with the neck, and it has an O-ring on top, so it seals the water that sits around here, so it doesn't leak through there and it falls into the sink on the bottom of the wood. Once that goes through, then through the bottom we put our this rubber piece, and then we put our washer, and then we put the nut that is gonna tighten the whole structure into the sink. So the sink will be right in between here. This, once you tighten this squeezes all the structure in the middle, and then that sits into the sink. So that's how we're gonna feed it. Okay, folks, for this valve, what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna loosen this nut, this plastic nut, all the way down to the bottom of where this is gonna be in the bottom of the sink. This is the cold side. So the cold side always goes on the right hand side of the faucets for most people. So then once you lower that, adjusting that tiny nut, this is going to be fed from the bottom, and then the handle is going to be fed into it, and it's going to be spun, because all these threads, this top piece of the handle has these threads on it, which is the nut, and there's an O-ring around it that is going to seal the water that spills around, so it doesn't leak to the side, to the bottom of the sink. So we feed it through the bottom, and then we put this over it, and then we start spinning this handle to screw itself into the valve body. So the handle is gonna be screwed down until it stops, and then that's gonna be your handle aligned with the internal, so it can open and close the water. And at the same time, once that happens, you adjust where your handle needs to be, and then you start tightening this, so the sink body ends right here. So when you tighten this, the whole structure becomes attached to the sink, so it doesn't move around. So we're gonna feed this through the bottom, and then this through the top, and then we're gonna screw it to the top. Okay, folks, so when you're starting to put your handles or your valves on the 8-inch hole, 3 hole, what you want to do is put the hose where it's going to go into the valve or out of the valve, pointing away. This is the inlet, and this will be going into the neck. So you will put that pointing away from the neck, because otherwise, if you put it pointing forward, it's going to hit the sink, so you won't have no room to it will be kink. So you want to put it like this, and then send it to the neck on the bottom. That's how you do it. So don't put it like this. This is showing you how that install is like this on the bottom. So we're looking at the bottom of the sink, and we got this Y that takes the cold and the hot water and send it to the middle of the neck. So we're gonna screw it onto it. So then we receive the cold or hot water to the faucet. So now we're gonna put the 3/8 hoses, flex hoses from both ends that feeds one from the valve to the neck and the other one from the valve to the neck, so they join, and then when you open it they send the water from the valve to the neck and it comes out through here. So we're gonna put them on and show you how they end up. Okay folks, so now we have to put the water hoses or the flex lines from the wall, from the 90s or the angle stops to the handles or the valves or the faucet. So the blue one is gonna go into the cold one, the 3/8 is gonna go to the angle stop, and the 1/2 inch is gonna go to the bottom of the water handle, and the cold that's gonna be the cold one, and same thing for the hot one. So they're colors, so in case somebody comes over they know that this is the hot and this is the cold one. So we're gonna show you how we install it. Okay folks, so now we have pressure all the way to the angle stops. We have connected all the hoses, tightening them down, everything's secure. We have opened the cold water, we're gonna open the hot water angle stop, and then we pressurize all the way to the valve and we open it. And there's air coming out because we shut the water at the main so we could replace the angle stops at the wall. So now we have fresh angle stops and brand new faucet into the sink. Okay folks, so this was an idea how to replace a 3-piece 8-inch part handle to handle on a faucet. These are, like I mentioned, 3-piece. They're not 1 piece, that you gotta put each one and then connect them through the bottom with each individual hose. So like this might be a method that might work for some people and that might work for other people because it might be a different scenario. One detail can change the whole scenario. So this is just an idea or how you can do a replacement on your faucet when it's 3-piece. We're gonna leave you the link here of the faucet that we bought in Amazon so you can get the specifications of what we bought and what we use at this point. And also remember, get your tools, get all the stuff that you're about to do the job, because once you get into it, there's no going back once you cut or you get your valves off. Be safe, and remember, if you like this video, give us thumbs up, share it, and we'll see you soon with more videos here en el canal El Chano Jose.